Hi, Miss Wiggins. This is my presentation on the Wolverine. This movie is about a guy, his name is Logan, slash the Wolverine, and some background information kind of before the movie starts, like the previous movies. He is a mutant. He has the ability to regenerate very quickly, so like anytime he gets wounds or anything, it heals really quickly. And then he also has claws that come out of his hands that he's able to fight with. So before I get started on the actual Monomyth part of the movie, I need to share some background information because nothing in the movie would tell you this information, but it's pretty important and you need to know it. And you get this information from the previous movies in the X-Men series. And so the character that I need to tell you about is Jean Grey. Jean is a character in the movie that Logan was previously in love with. They had very strong feelings for each other. Jean was also a mutant, and she was very, very powerful. She could pretty much just do anything that she wanted if she thought it. So like she had telekinesis, she could pretty much transform anything into anything. She was pretty much considered the most powerful person alive. But with that power came a dark side of her that she couldn't really control. And so instead of being able to control it, it started to control her to where she couldn't control her powers, she couldn't control what she was doing. And so it caused her to kill a lot of people and hurt a lot of people, and she just couldn't stop it. And so the only person that was able to stop her from doing this was Logan, because he was the only person that could get close enough without dying to kill her because of his quick regeneration. And so Logan ends up having to kill her even though he's still in love with her, and he knows that he's not actually killing Jean because at this point it's not the Jean he knew. It's the Phoenix, which is the personality that kind of like took over, I guess. But anyways, so he has to kill her, and right before he kills her, the real Jean came out and like told him that it was okay to kill him, or to kill her, I'm sorry. But yeah, so Logan after this was in a very bad state mentally because he just thought that like anything that he loved, it was his fault for like them dying, because that happened multiple other times in his past. And so because of this, that's where we start off this movie and where he is mentally and his mental journey through this movie. Number 1, Call to Adventure. Logan went to a bar to confront a man about using illegal arrows to kill bears. A girl comes in and tells Logan that he doesn't need to worry about these men because they will die in a week anyways. Once they leave, she tells him that her name is Yukio and that her master, Yashida, wants him to go to Tokyo to say goodbye before he dies. Yashida was a Japanese general in World War II. Logan saved him from the bomb that hit Hiroshima. Logan is being called back to his past to start a journey for him to find his purpose for the future. So the Call to Adventure was very unique because the movie starts with a flashback of Logan in Hiroshima and him surviving the bomb that hit there. And he was there as a prisoner of war, but he saved this Japanese general named Yashida. And so Yashida said he would never forget Logan and that he would see him again before he died. And so he's being called back now to say goodbye before Yashida dies. Number 2, the refusal of the call. Logan says he does not want to go to Tokyo, but Yukio says that Yashida wants to see the Wolverine. He replies, "That's not who I am anymore." So not only does Logan refuse a physical journey, but he also refuses a part of himself. He does not want to be the Wolverine because anytime he gets close to a person, they get hurt. He believes that the only way to protect them is to not be the Wolverine anymore. The problem is that he can't escape who he is. It is literally impossible since he cannot die. So, Logan feels like he needs to seclude himself from all other life because anytime he gets close to people or starts loving people, he ends up hurting them. And he can't escape this life that he's living because he can't die, because anytime people try to kill him, he just regenerates or heals or grows back, And so he's stuck in this place where he doesn't want to be living and he doesn't have a reason to live, but he also cannot die. So he refuses himself and who he's meant to be, and he also refuses the physical journey of going to Tokyo. Number 3, supernatural aid. Eventually, she gets him to agree to go to Tokyo. When they get on the plane, Logan asks how she knew that the men in the bar would die so soon. She reveals that she has some kind of power to see the future. This shows how she will be his helper throughout the rest of the movie. It also foreshadows how he does not have to go through this mental journey alone. So, Yukio is his supernatural aid because she has this power to be able to see when people die, and that also comes into play later in the movie. But she also is kind of just a symbol of that first friendship that he has, and that first healing of inside of him, and the first relationship he'll have ever since he secluded himself. So she starts the physical process, getting him to go to Tokyo, but she also first starts the mental process of healing his heart and what he feels, how he feels love and stuff like that. Number 4, crossing the first threshold. They land in Tokyo and are taken to Master Yashida's house. Logan sees how different Japan's culture is from North America's, and he feels out of place. Japan is significant because Logan has been there before when he was captured in Hiroshima. The memories of his capture probably come flooding back to his mind, making him once again feel trapped in his own life. So when he gets on the plane and goes to Tokyo, Japan, he gets there and he looks nothing like any of the people he sees, and all of the places that he goes before he gets to Master Yashida's house are just very different from North America, where he was living there, moving around and living before. And so he feels very out of place, but he's also been to Japan before, so he probably gets a whole bunch of the memories back from when he was there, and all the things that happened in his past that he's trying to escape and just can't, and now he's back where they happened. So it's this mental journey, and he's trying to escape it, but he can't, and now he's back where they all took place. Number 5, the belly of the whale. Yukio talks to Mariko, Yashida's granddaughter. She says that Logan cannot see Yashida looking the way he does. Since Logan has been living in the forest, he is not shaven or clean. The Japanese women clean him and cut his hair. This is very symbolic for how he is beginning his journey of finding out who he is. He does not want to be the old Logan or the Wolverine, but he doesn't know how to be anything else, hence living in the woods before this. He is being forced to embrace his old life through his new appearance, which is actually what he looked like when he was the Wolverine. So Wolverine went through this transformation of first, before looking kind of like a hobo. He hadn't shaved his beard or cut his hair or probably even taken a shower in a very, very long time. And so now he's physically being transformed into the person he looked like before he went into the forest and before he secluded himself from society. So this is very symbolic of how he's being forced back into this past self, and how we're gonna be revealed on how he deals with this and how he grows from this, and how now that he's in Tokyo and he's back in his old self, how this is going to affect the rest of the movie and how he grows. Okay, some little extra information that isn't one of the steps but is kind of important to the story is that when Logan goes to talk to Yashida, Yashida offers to take away his power of healing, and so Wolverine is like, no, I'm not giving you my power, like I don't want this death, even though that's what he thought he wanted. So Wolverine's like, no, you don't want what I've got, is what he says. He says, you don't want this, you don't want the power to live forever, but Yashida apparently does, and so he says he has a way to be able to transfer that kind of healing, but Wolverine says no and rejects him. So, and then that's where we pick up in number 6. Number 6, Road of Trials. There are 3 trials that Logan has to go through to kind of learn more about himself and to start his motives for why he's doing what he's doing and why he's risking his life and stuff like that. So the first one is, after Yashida dies, Logan attends his funeral before leaving for home. He noticed something is not right. There were men there that were disguised, that were hired to try to capture Mariko. Logan fights them and saves her from them. She leaves him to get on a train, but he follows her to keep her safe. So Logan notices that something's definitely not right at the funeral, and these men come out of nowhere and try to capture Mariko. And so Logan is like, he doesn't really know Mariko, but he's also not going to let her get captured, because that's just like the heroic side of him that's coming out, that he can't just let that happen. So he fights them, and he gets her safely like into like the middle of a crowd in town, and then she kind of like leaves him and is like, okay, I'm fine now, thank you for saving me, but I'll be good, so I'm just gonna get on this train. And he's like, no, I think I'm gonna stay with you, because you probably won't be able to survive without me. So he stays with her to make sure that she's safe. So the second road of trial is, Logan realizes he's not healing as quickly as he normally does. This confuses him because it has never happened before. He does not know what is wrong with him. This goes along with Logan finding out who he is, because now he is forced to live without his powers. He has to face a time without his powers to find his strength without the powers of the Wolverine. So, he, after fighting these bad men and being shot multiple times, he gets on the train and realizes that he's not healing. Like, normally he'd be good to go by now, but the bullet wounds were still there and he was still in a lot of pain. And so he was very confused because this has never happened before to him. So he goes to the bathroom to check it out, and he can't figure it out, but he definitely does not feel good. And so this is a trial that he has to face, because he has to figure out what he's going to do now that the power of the Wolverine is being taken away from him. And so we'll have to see what happens to him, but this is a trial that he has to face and he has to grow and overcome, that will probably mentally help him in the long run. So number 3 of the trials is, the men find Mariko and Logan on the train. Logan has to fight them on top of the train while he is injured, so they will not capture Mariko. So this is just kind of another level of how Logan is acting as a hero here, and how he doesn't need to be fighting for her. He doesn't even really know her that well, but he's not going to let her be captured or like taken. And so he fights these same men on the top of a train to make sure that she's safe and doesn't get captured. Number 7, temptation. Jean comes to Logan in a vision. She tempts Logan to let go and die so that he can be with her. This would pull Logan off his path of finding out his purpose in life. At the beginning, Logan didn't have a reason to live, but did not have the capability to die. Now he's being offered death, but doesn't know if he should take it. There's a newfound hope in him that he is capable of more than just pain and death. He is beginning to see that he could have a life worth living. So Jean comes to him, even though she's dead. She comes to him in like a vision or like a dream like thing, and she tells him that he should take the chance to die so that way he can be with her. And Logan is questioning it, and he's like, well, I don't really have a reason to live anymore, so I can just die. I could take Yashida up on what he offered me and just go now. But down inside him, he also has this hope that there is something more to life, and that he can experience love, and he can have this hope of being a hero and being a good person who helps others. And something very important to note about this step is that it's out of order from Joseph Campbell's Monomyth, because normally meeting with a goddess comes before temptation, but in this one, temptation comes first, and this is why. In stage 7 is out of order because Logan needed to be tempted before the mother figure, which is Mariko, could save him and show him that he is still capable of feeling loved and showing love. Mariko brings restoration to the temptation that Jean burdens Logan with, just as much as she restores his physical health when she gets him help for the bullet wounds. So, as I go on to explain number 8, the reason why 7 and 8 are switched will make more sense. Number 8, meeting with a goddess. Mariko saves Logan from dying by getting him whatever help she could find. The best person she could find on such short notice was a veterinarian. He was able to get the bullet wounds out of him. This saved him from bleeding out. Though this was not the first time Logan meets Mariko, it is the first time she shows love and affection for him. The hope inside Logan begins to grow the closer he gets to Mariko. She gives him a picture of what life with love has to offer. So Mariko saves his life, so she restores the temptation that was given by Jean, which is why the stages are out of order. But so she restores and gives him a reason why he should live, and why life has more than just pain and death, but that there's also love and there's life. And so this hope inside Logan starts to grow as he sees this opportunity of love and just restoration from his past that he's come from. Number 9, atonement with the father. While Logan and Mariko are on the run, they reach the place where he saved Yashida from the bomb. Logan is confronted with the flashbacks from his past. He tells Mariko of the flashbacks he is having and how he saved her grandfather. Mariko tells Logan that he can heal from his past. She heard Logan saying Jean's name in his sleep, and she asks who she is. Logan does not answer her, but does take to heart what she said about how he has the capability to heal from his past. It may not be as easy as his physical healing, but the hope that she gives him is enough for him to make him try. So, the atonement that happens with this father is more of Logan looking back at his past and how he did save someone, and how that is something that wasn't death and destruction in his past. And so he's reminded of this and confronted by this when Marco tells how he is going to be able to heal from his past, and that he isn't stuck there, and that he's seen the good, or that she has seen the good that has come out of his heroic actions. And so she gives them this new hope that just continues to grow the more he's around her. And so now that he's been confronted by this truth that he knows can be true, it's the fact that will he continue to try? Will he continue to try to let this hope grow, and this hope just make an impact in his life to turn him around and to become the person he's supposed to be? Number 10, apostasis. Logan uses Yashida's technology to get the bug that was preventing him from healing off his heart. It was put there by Viper, Yashida's nurse. He gets it out but dies shortly after. He is only dead for about a minute before he begins to heal again. He heals just in time to save Yukio, who is fighting Mori, Mariko's father, who wants Mariko dead. Right before Logan kills him, Mori asks, "What kind of monster are you?" And Logan replies, "The Wolverine." This is very important, as his death shows that Logan recognizes his heroic side, the Wolverine. He no longer sees himself as a villain or a danger to those he loves. Instead, he knows that he has the power to save those he loves with the mutations that he has. So, as Logan goes through this death process by trying to save himself, he dies, and then he comes back just in time to be able to save Yukio from this physical fight that she was having. And right as he kills Mori, Mori asks this question. He goes, "What kind of monster are you? Who are you? How do you have these crazy things that happen to you?" And he goes, "It's because I'm the Wolverine." So he is acknowledging that he is the Wolverine, and that is a part of him. But he's also acknowledging the fact that he is no longer this destruction and this death that just plagued his life before, but now he has the power to love, and he has the power to save the people that he loves, and that he is no longer the villain of his story, but he's the hero. And so this death brings that out of him and lets him recognize the power that he has. Number 11, the ultimate boon. This stage comes in two different parts that together complete his journey and achieve what he was meant to achieve on this journey. So the first part, Logan and Yukio leave to save Mariko from Viper and Harada. He was captured by ninjas that were guarding the place where Mariko was being held. Logan has to fight Viper and a giant machine made of adamantium. He finds out that Yashida was living in it. Yashida was using the machine as his source of life until he was able to steal Logan's powers. This machine is made to take his power of regeneration and give it to Yashida. With the help of Yukio and Mariko, he kills Viper and Yashida. During the fight, the machine cuts off Logan's claws. This is symbolic for the old Wolverine that he used to be. It is like a new start for him because his claws grow back just without the adamantium. It shows how he returned back to his heroic roots without changing who he is. So that was the big fight scene that happened at the end of the movie, and how Logan was able to defeat Yashida, who was trying to steal his life away from him pretty much. And so Logan defeats him and makes that decision that he does want to live and that he wanted to save Mariko. And then the second part of this is Logan sees Jean for the last time, and he refuses to die to be with her because he has found a new reason to live. Thus, he completes his journey of finding out who he is and what he's meant to do in this world. At the beginning, he had no reason to live, but now he has friends and people to love him and that he can love. His life has a new meaning in it. Now he is able to forgive himself for the past and allow his heart to heal. He now knows he is capable of being the hero instead of the villain. So Logan sees Jean at the end, and she asks him again to be with her, and he says no. He says, I choose life, I choose to live because I have found a purpose, and I know I'm not the villain, I am the hero, and that I can do good and help the people that I love. And so this completes his journey of trying to find out what his purpose is in life and why he's been alive this whole time. And so it just gives him closure, and he just finds this new part of him that he's now going to be able to embrace, this heroic side of him, that he doesn't have to be scared of himself anymore, but that he can go out and impact the people that he loves and impact them in a good way that will help them and possibly save them. Number 12, refusal to return. This step was opposite. Mariko tries to convince Logan to stay in Japan, but Logan says he has to go back. Logan tells her, I can't, princess, I'm a soldier and I've been hiding too long. This shows how he is ready to face this new phase in his life. Logan is ready to be the Wolverine again, but this time to fight for people, like a soldier. So Logan has fully embraced this new side of him that is the Wolverine, and he knows that he can't stay in Japan because he has other things now that he needs to deal with back at home, because now that he's the Wolverine, he can use that power for good, for the people that he knows back there. And so his new goal in life is to fight for people like a soldier fights for his country kind of thing. He wants to fight for the things he believes in, and he needs to fight the wars that he's called to fight. Number 13, magic flight. This step is missing. There is no need for an escape because they had already conquered the enemy and Logan had made peace with himself. The fight was over and the war was won. So there was no need for them to escape because they had already defeated every enemy that they had come across, and Logan had already completed his journey of finding out who he is, and he had already committed to not dying and to not being with Jean. So there was no need for any longer fighting or escaping from this new world. Rather, it's more like he's willingly leaving and he's going home. Number 16, Master of Two Worlds. This step is missing. The movie ends before we can see Logan back in his world. The movie's ending was hopeful, suggesting that he will go back and become a new person he discovered on the journey. It suggests he will continue to grow as the Wolverine. So the movie ends technically at step 15. So step 16 is almost implied that he will continue to grow as he gets home and that he becomes more and more of this new Wolverine that helps people and that loves people and isn't scared of loving people anymore. But we don't know that for sure because we don't get to see him back at home. Number 17, Freedom to Live. So like all Marvel movies, there's an end credit scene that happens after the credits of the movie. And so this is the Freedom to Live step. So in the end credit scene, Logan is going through the airport 2 years later. Magneto stops and tells him that there's a force that is threatening to wipe out all mutants. Logan does not believe him until every person at the airport freezes, which can only happen because of one mutant, Professor X. Logan saw Professor X die in the previous movie, so he's very confused as to how he's alive. So Magneto and Professor X both recruit him to battle whoever this next enemy is, and this soldier is ready to fight. So Logan has been living as this new Wolverine for 2 years now, and then he is being recruited by these two like huge superheroes, actually slash villains. That's just in a different movie, but anyways. So Professor X and Magneto, they come and they're like, Logan, we need your help. There's something that's threatening us all to wipe out the entire mutant population, and we need you and we need your powers to help us defeat them. And so because Logan went through this new journey to find himself, he is now able and ready to fight this next fight for the good of all mutants. And so without his journey going through Japan and finding out who he is, he wouldn't have been able to save the entire mutant population in the next upcoming like movie / adventure. So yeah.